this is an interesting topic, right? We all talk about mobile, how mobile can change lives, particularly in developing countries. We have been seeing that in South Asia, in South America, in Africa, where people don't have actually desktops. So today we have on the stage a few very interesting people who actually do work in this industry of disrupting the life of people via mobile. So I'd like to hear a little bit more about Apichai, Pisal, and Chris in a few minutes. I have to introduce myself. My name is Djoann Fal, so I'm the co-founder and CEO of GetLinks. We are a tech talents marketplace. We do mobile recommendation of jobs for tech people, programmers, designers, and digital marketers. And we also operate something named BKK Startup Job Fest, which is a startup festival where we got 3,500 people in July. So all of us are disrupting a little bit the mobile industry here with recruitment for me, with investment for Apichai, with education for Pisal, and education as well for him. So Apichai, why don't you tell us a little bit about the limits of creating impact with mobile app? Because as a business, you need to make profits. You need to make something that with revenue, and sometimes there is apps that are not monetized. So as an investor, how do you actually see the stakes of it?
Okay, thank you. I think there's two parts to making a software business successful. Either you monetize, you make profit, or you add value where people are loyal to your application. So if any of you are thinking of starting an app today, you probably have only two choices. You profit, which the world is telling you differently because everybody's running after a dream valuation. That, I think, will soon become ancient. What's more important is, can you make a difference in people's lives? And that means, can you add some value where people are coming back to you every day, or every other day, or every so forth. So that, I think, is an impact. And if people are coming back, then that's for a reason. And that reason's already adding value to your business as well.
So perhaps, Apichai, you want to introduce a bit more about what you are doing, because I think people don't know you here yet. So I'll let you.
That's a good idea. My name's Apichai. I run a company called MSL Software. We do software for very, very large enterprises in Thailand, so the top tier. If you walk into any bank, any branch, and use any of their services, you're probably routing some of your money through our systems. If you're exporting, you're routing things through our systems. We do projects for at least half of the government ministries, very, very large banks, and all enterprise. Another part of what I do, I have a VC fund. It's $9.2 million. I'm a co-founder, and we're in the midst of setting up another fund. So we look into startups in Thailand predominantly, in all areas. Yeah, so those are the two areas that I focus on.
But mostly mobile, because this is how I met him a few months ago. So we have also Pisal. Pisal, you want to tell a little bit about what you are doing?
Okay, I'm Dr. Pisal Setthawong. I'm the assistant chairperson at Department of Business Information System at Assumption University. I actually wear many hats. I also quite well versed in the game development industry in Thailand. So the Thai Game Association, I run one of the largest, what we call developer communities in Thailand in game development. So I guess I'll have to say I wear many hats in this area.
Great. So one VC, one mobile game developer, and one entrepreneur.
My name is Krol. I come from Poland. I have a company here in Thailand called TingTong Apps. We are producing in here the software for learning languages, using mostly the newest methods like spaced repetition method. Also, we are making the e-learning software connected to mobile apps, to website solutions about how to develop your life, how to set goals, get motivation, how to get successful in life on the consistent basis.
Great, thank you. So yeah, it seems like a great panel, right? We have all the scope of the industry with an entrepreneur, with a teacher and mobile developer, with universities, and an investor. So Chris, why don't you tell us, because that's what interests, I think, the people here. How can you, in the same time, impact people, and build a business that impacts people's lives for social goods, right? Education, for example, but in the same time create a profitable business. That's something that I think very hard. So perhaps you can share with us how is your story and how you
I think the most important thing is to focus on the result, what you want to get when you are making your software. So it's not about, okay, I want to make money or I want to get a lot of users. This is not the result. The result is to really have an impact on people's lives, is to get people to actually get some change in their life when they are using your app. So this was how my business started in here. The first influence was when I just came to Thailand, and I have noticed that here in Asia, people were keeping their nose in their smartphones. In Europe, it was not so popular, but when I go here by MRT or BTS, it was something new for me that everybody was looking at the smartphone, nobody talking with anybody. Everybody was just looking at the smartphone. And at that time I was thinking, what if they could actually look still in the smartphone, but get something from it more than that scrolling Facebook or playing some simple games or something like this. So this was for me the inspiration, like, okay, how I can use the people's time when they are, for example, in the MRT, in the taxi, waiting in some queue. So they are just using automatic things like scrolling Facebook, but they can actually have impact on their lives. And at that time, the first solution that we created was to learn English language for Thai people. So we started with this idea, then I mixed some idea, I became so much in love with this country that I wanted to learn Thai language. So I wanted to have software for me to learn, but there was nothing almost on the market that was that could be on mobile to learn the Thai language. So I created the first app for me, myself, to learn the Thai language. And then we went like, okay, maybe we add some more languages, maybe English, Chinese, French, German, Spanish. Maybe we translated also in another languages, and this is how we started the Ling application, the flagship one in the beginning, which right now have a couple of millions of users from all around the world. And then we started developing also the learning software for motivation, for goal setting, for learning how to manage your business. But the most important thing was we always focused on the results. So we wanted our software to have actual impact on people's life. Not only looking like, okay, we need millions of downloads and everybody have to spend money in the application. We wanted actually that people can, for example, we are making application for learning language, that they will actually know the language after it. If we make application for motivation, for self-development, that people will change their life after it. They will get results. Because I believe this is the best form of the marketing. If people really get the results from your software, if they really can feel the impact straight away from it, then you don't need some sophisticated marketing. You don't need to spend millions on advertising. You don't need it because people will just recommend it to their friends. People all around will see it. And they will notice it, and they will start to use it like one by one. So this is what I believe. The value is the most important thing. If you have it, this thing in your software, in what you do, if you give it to people, the money will come. Because people will be willing to pay you money, even very big money, because they will see, okay, this is for me an investment in myself. This is not just some money spent on something that will only waste my time, but actually this is the investment for them. And people can invest a lot in the changing of their lives, in the education, in all of these things. So this is what I believe, that if you really focus on value, the money will come by it naturally.
Great. Yeah, we have been seeing that. I think there is, particularly in Thailand, right, with the highest mobile penetration of South Asia. I think it's something like 105% of Facebook. This is quite impressive, right? It's mean like at least people have one or two profiles. Same for the mobile. I've been surprised as a foreigner as well when I came here for the first time. So there is Line, there is Facebook, there is, but how can you see those kind of impacts? Because they spend most of their time on Facebook. So, for example, I heard sometime that Line, there is people who are using that for different things, that just chatting with friends. So, and perhaps, Pisal, you have some example of that and can share with us.
Well, if we talk about social media, mobile phones, and the impact on regular lives, we do have quite a few case studies, a few examples in which dramatically changed how people work, how people do the stuff. One of the very big changes that we've seen in the last few years is the change of what we call social media activism. We can notice that social media and all of these chat platforms allow platforms for people to ask for change, people to ask for political change, people to ask for a lot of different things. I am not sure this is for the better or for the worse, but decades ago, people in Thailand said, we don't want to do anything with politics. But right now, a lot of people are more involved in politics. So this is what has been changed in one of the examples. An example of work and related of that, we see the people in the lowest rung of social circles, people like laborers, people like motorcycle taxis. Once they have mobile phones, if they have the internet, they can use like chat software like Line, Facebook, and they can contact with the customers. So if we're talking about motorcycle taxi, they can find job as mechanics, they can find job as a gardener on their free time. So it allows a lot of economic opportunities for the lower rung of the circle. But in the case of education, it's a little bit slow and there's a lot of issues. So I don't want to waste too much time on the panel, so I'd like to return the question back to what we call the administrator, the moderator, my apologies.
Great. So yeah, we heard that, for example, Line just operates a new software platform for people to actually share services, right? Not only messaging, but actually ordering services from people to help to repair, for example, your car or those kind of services. But as an investor, how do you find those opportunities? And because this is a kind of a long-term run. If you want to get profits, you need to have much more users with much more engagement. So what are the stakes for you as an investor, Apichai, to push this industry forward toward more and more social goods?
So an investor typically looks for returns. That's a fact. That's obvious. An application writer is looking for investment. That's another fact. But somewhere in between, they have to prove to each other that there is a market and it's going to grow. Whether you are doing an app that's going to teach people or entertain people, fundamentally what an investor wants to know is either how much you will make, and if you're not going to make, how many will you use, how often. I think those are, again, the two main things that an investor will look at. If you can prove either or, then you stand a very high chance of getting funding and follow-up funding. Remember, it's not about funding on day one. I think funding on day one is not difficult anymore. It's the subsequent funding. If you can't think of a Series A, Series B, and Series C, nobody's going to do a pre-seed. Because if you can't imagine it, the investor can't either. So when you walk in the door to meet an investor, the most important thing is you have visualized your journey. And you know why people want to use your application. Now when we talk about Line, you talk about Facebook, you talk about Twitter, LinkedIn. To me, these are platforms. What Facebook has done is it's connected people. It's connected me to 95% of my childhood friends that I even forgot their names. That's the truth. I completely never thought I would ever be in touch with these people ever again. And suddenly I am. That's value, because I'm now connected. People are starting to build over this connectivity. So if you talk to me about Facebook, its primary value, and I think they understand it themselves, is connecting. If you talk about Twitter, it's spreading news, it's spreading information, short, quick, real time. So they understand that journey, and they know who they are. I think an investor wants to see that. Do you actually know who you are? Or have you visualized a gap and you're going to try it out with a VC money? So whether you're doing a CSR app or you're doing any app, I think any app can provide value and be socially good as long as you make a positive difference to someone's lives and a group of people's lives. If you can prove that people are going to come back and use it, then you will get funding. In fact, you don't have to pitch. investors will run after you.
And that's what I think we had with Chris. So interesting to see that when there is a market, investor come. When there is something that actually bring value, investor come. But for example, education is a very, very big market, right? We all been in this room, I guess, in school somehow, or university. And finally, in the details, when we actually see how the mobile is operating for education, we see only few things connected with the university or government. There is this funny Thai joke that I guess many of you guys have heard, is when you go to Chiang Mai and you ask, hey, do you have internet? People say no. And then you check their Android phone, and they actually do have Facebook. So many of those people who don't have access to a desktop, they have internet on mobile. But somehow, education is still not there. So, Pisal, how do you explain that gap? And how do you think we should, what's next for those industries?
Well, if we talk about the educational sector, we have many discussions in the past. What is the unicorn? What is the silver bullet that can solve all the ills of education? And before they were talking about Second Life, they were talking about MMOG. With that one, they were talking about e-learning platforms. And at the end, we can notice that education is actually a larger thing than we understand. There's a lot of little details that we actually have to go into. Every school is very different. I work in science and engineering, but I'm in a business school, so I have to do both of them. And we can see there's a lot of culture clash between people working into different fields. I work with a game company. I have artists, people in communication arts. All of them think differently. All of them learn differently. The way they learn is very, very different. And one of the reasons why we can see that there's not much push, there's not much progress over here is because each of these areas require many, many different things. In the example of Chris, it's about language. So how you learn language is one specific way, which could work very well in apps, and he has proven it quite well. But an example of if you're teaching programming, teaching about logic, how can we do it with an application? It is a question. They've been talking about Minecraft, they've been talking about a lot of different things, but at the moment, there's not enough proof to prove that this is actually effective. And also, implementing this type of platform is very, very expensive. And a lot of universities, when they look at the cost involved in converting the coursework into mobile apps, they said, how much would it cost? If it costs a significant amount, administrators would not really agree with it. Can they push them out to the students? Would they be happy with it? And this is like a chicken and egg question that has been around for many, many years. So this is part of the question. Maybe we could come out and maybe think about some of the possible solutions, how we can go to the future. But this is what I like to mention to the panel about the issues at the moment.
Great. So I know in this room there is many people who are working in mobile. I know there is some company CEOs here that are doing a lot of mobile. So perhaps you guys can talk with him after this panel. So we see now that there is the market, right? Everyone could potentially learn on mobile for free or not. That's my question for you, Chris. So as a e-learning mobile app, how do you monetize? And how do you, for example, imagine you have to talk with a university. How do you partner with them to make sure that the university can actually have you helping them to create content? Is it something that you did already, or is it possible? And how can we replicate that?
I think the key here is to make the students actually that they want to use the application, because you can see many e-learning solutions are just the copy of the book. So for example, it's just some book put into the application, maybe with some pictures and a little bit of interaction, and then it's boring for people, yes? They don't want to study in this way. So I think, and this is what I believe, and this is what actually we are doing, we put a mixture of fun and learning. And I think this is the key. When people can actually get the same enjoyment, same passion, like when they are playing some games which they love, and at the same time they can learn something, they can get the value, they can also use this knowledge in their real life. So I think this is the key. If you really can make people that they will use your application and they will not even feel that they are learning, they will just have fun, they will enjoy their time, and at the same way they will get the knowledge. And I think if this factor is present in here, then it's very easy to convince anybody, actually. We have participated already in cooperation with some schools in Thailand. We have installed our software in the One Tablet per Child program. We have made a lot of applications, like you said, we used different methods for learning, because I believe and I know different people have different way of thinking and then different approach. For example, this one prefer vocabulary, this one would learn more from song or from some text. So I think there should be a variety also, that somebody can attack the topic from many different angles.
Okay, so now we have value, we have a business model, right? Learning plus fun. We have been seeing that e-learning in the web is really growing fast. We know Coursera, we know Udemy, we know Khan Academy, which are operating in those countries where there is somehow no desktop but mobile. I understand for education, and we see that the challenge now is to bring that to mobile with more fun. Is there any other industry that could bring goods to those people that you have been seeing or looking at, Apichai, in South Asia or in Asia?
So my definition of social apps is much broader. Again, I stick to what I say, that what adds value to me, to a consumer. So because my VC fund looks into different sectors, which includes retail, tourism, food, you know, one problem that we've been seeing, or one gap we've been seeing, is when we go out and there are these loyalty programs, these cards from different restaurants or hotels, how many cards do we have to carry all the time? And you know, places like Starbucks are now putting their apps, and you can pay from your phone. Why isn't everybody doing that? And then why aren't all these apps integrated? Why can't I share points between the different outlets? And why can't that be cash and become virtual currency and so forth, and more and more and more? We've seen a growth of in-app purchases. And a lot of you guys who know about games would know this, but you guys would be doing this quietly because you don't want the government to know how much money you make or in-app purchases are going on, or whether it's secure or not. But the fact is, it's growing. And I think there is a wave, and there's a lot of people who are talking about these things. And why can't this be done in a broader level to make a difference in other areas? Our moderators company here links people with jobs. So this young boy has done a good job linking thousands of people with new jobs. And that, I think, is also a social app. And there are tons of other examples that can be given in other industries, food, entertainment, and so forth. So I think there is a trend. There has to be encouragement, and I think a large initiative should be done by the governments. I don't know if anyone from the Thai government is still here, but if you are, please listen to me. I think you need to redefine the way you promote these apps. Redefine how the policies are going to be set for the next coming decade to promote these things. Redefine what you actually call socially beneficial apps, and how grants are given, and how the longevity of apps are thought of. So yes, there are a lot of examples. Some I can give. It would take a very long time, but yeah.
I think that's a very good ending. We have been mentioning government. We have been mentioning the stakes here and the challenges. We have been seeing a panel that includes kind of most of the industry, right? A teacher, an investor, and an entrepreneur actually make it happen as well. And now we know that the next steps are making fun with value for people. I think also collaboration between education sectors, governments, and those entrepreneurs and local ecosystem who actually build the digital economy. So I think we already know where to go next. I hope you guys will be able to interact with each other today. Not only about CPC, CPA, how to actually sell more on mobile and install more apps, but also how to bring value to those people. And you see that we have successful case where when you focus on this specific value to the people, you actually can become very profitable. And Chris, thank you to be here today, because that's a great example of a mobile company that's have been solving problems and at the same time being profitable. So yeah, I think now we can close and start with the Q&A. There is very interesting profiles in this room. So if there is any question from the audience to either the investor or to the teacher or to the entrepreneur, I'll let the audience talk. So thank you for everyone here to be listening to those guys. And I think we can connect after inside the room and have coffee together. Thank you a lot.
I'd now like to invite to the stage Mercy Livingston of GMASA to present the tokens of appreciation to our panelists.